Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of Staten Island Soccer Report, coming to you live tonight from the studios of CTV. Alongside me, as always, but in a different color shirt tonight, Frank Tricomi. Frank, how's it been? I see you wearing different colors this season.
Yeah, looks like that.
You know what? Let's just jump right into that. Or you want to close out with cash? Close out with cash. So, Richmond Town Rush in the past. Just decided to move on to a different club. Great kills. Great time you had in the Rush with Richmond Town. You had with your boys team.
Yeah, you know.
Yes, I'm the best.
Can't say enough good things.
I'm the best in all the world.
I don't think
I'm the strongest
as
of
much
them all.
change has been.
I'm football crazy.
A friend of mine this week said to me, talking, reminiscing a little bit,
Football crazy.
said it's a dynasty. Put it just like that, one word, dynasty. Winning 3 straight division championships, I guess you could call it a dynasty. Right on the head. You can speak for your boys team. I know you guys done some good things in a short time.
Yeah, you know, 2 years ago, nothing short of fantastic.
When they come,
Like
like
a
a
few
game,
losses here and there.
I'll be on the ball
I just
today.
attribute that to the
On the field,
Kinda feeling
think
now.
of you. Trainer says no left turn
All right.
right.
Anything else before we close that chapter and move on to bigger and better things?
No, it's
That's it.
enjoy the time and it's time to move on, I guess.
Okay, very good. So officially, I haven't yet coached the game because due to conflicting jobs. Tonight, refereeing, I'm going to coach at the same time. So, how'd it go?
Well, we're pretty good. To say the least.
Let's start from the top. We had a game last week.
Yes.
All right.
We actually opened up the season.
Yes, I'm the
The
best.
whole Staten Island youth soccer league.
I'm the best in all the world.
Great Kills Starlets.
I'm the
The
strongest of them all.
Starlets, right?
Starlets, I'm
The
sorry.
Great Kill Starlets.
I'm sorry. I
U10 girls.
still can't say.
Yeah, you're still stuck in the past. That's the problem.
Well, hey, I'm saying Great Kills now, which is
That's a plus.
which is
That's a
step in
good
the
thing.
right direction.
All right, so just to update everyone, the Great Kills Starlets, U10 girls,
Yes.
we playing Division 2,
Yes.
and we started the season last Thursday night,
Yes.
I believe it was, against our old friends at Our Lady's Star of the Sea. So, give us a recap on that game from last week.
Just as I'd expected, good team, you know, probably the class of Division 2.
Right.
You know, them, and we'll tip our cap a little bit to St. Charles,
Okay.
you know, because at this point, they look like the front runners, you know, even going in,
So,
you know, just because they have experience and, you know, they've won regularly, they haven't dominated Division 1, but they've been able to gather wins at the right time in Division 2. So, you know, we'll definitely make them the front runners here. It was a good game, back and forth. Wound up scoreless tie. Great saves by the Scarlet keeper, Madison.
right.
She had a few great saves.
I think she stood on her head that night, that game, really. She
Yeah.
just made save after save, and I think Coach Sal, let's not forget, we got Coach Sal in the mix. It's a three-headed monster as far as the coaching staff goes now. So Coach Sal definitely has to take her to dinner or something, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
We get Sal involved a little here.
Well, now the good part about having 3 coaches here is you can split the bill 3 ways, I guess.
Exactly. It's a little cheaper on us. So. But
you know, that game was kind of interesting because I think that they dominated control of the ball in the first half, whereas Madison really did have to make quite a few saves. and I think coming out from halftime, I think we kind of dominated the ball.
Okay.
So it just scoreless tie.
So they pretty much controlled, like they pressured, you know.
Yeah, they did.
They pressured. From what I remember, they had ball possession, and that's big in soccer.
Yeah.
As we all know, they possessed the ball for a good part of the game. If the game's 50 minutes, I gotta say, I don't know, maybe 30.
Yeah.
A good 30-minute possession, that's not good. But again, we came out of that thing with a point.
We scrambled at times,
Yeah.
you know, in front of the goal. It was a little bit messy, but you know what? The girls did what they had to do to get that ball out of there.
Yeah.
And also, I do want to, you know, tip the cap as well to Laura, Rita, and Ryan, the
Right.
defense that primarily played that game.
Well, 2 captains were named for this team, right? 2 captains. Do you know? Do you want to?
I think per week. I think that's...
No, it's per season. It's per this season.
Oh, this season.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
that
was-
would be Ryan, I think, and Tiffany.
Tiffany, right? There's 2 captains, right, on
Yes.
the team, which is a good thing. And I believe they were awarded the captain's armbands primarily because they were at every practice before we started the season, which
Well,
is a good thing.
That's important.
Yeah.
You know, that's the first step.
Right? You got to show up. You
is
got to be there.
getting
Yeah, you got to
the
be
player
there.
to come to practice.
It's a commitment. You know, parents have to get their kids there, and the kids have to pretty much just listen to the coaches. You know, to try and get this thing going, in the good way. You know, kids understand now wins and losses. Nobody, you know, when you get onto the field, you don't want to lose a game. You know, you want to try your best and win. So the only way to do that, in my mind, is get the practice. And I know everyone's got things going on, but get the practice, and we could teach the kids, and hopefully it'll trickle on to the games. You know, we could do some good things. So after that first game, I don't even think we had any shots on goal that game.
I don't think that there were.
I don't think so. I don't think we got any. That's not a good sign either, offensively. You know.
The offense, you know, it needs work. You know, it's going to take time. Obviously, we're basically we meshed together 2 teams.
Right.
That were.
Well, let's not say 2 teams. Let's just say, you know, we've brought a couple of girls over that wanted to follow, had a following. You know, girls wanted to come along, and we put the 2 together. And I don't even think that's an issue, really. I really don't think that's the problem, because there's plenty of time. We've been practicing now for over a month.
Yeah.
We've been practicing for over a month, so. And besides, we're playing with kids, so kids they get comfortable real quick. You know,
Yeah.
The chemistry thing with with kids, I think it happens. You know, the problem is having quality plays. That might be a thing. You know, so. But again, week 1. Struggled scoring, right? Trying to get any kind of offense,
Yeah,
really.
it
And
was-
Gabriella's the number 1 culprit, number 9. You know, I get right on her right away because in my mind, she's the person that's got to score goals. Plain and simple. She's got to put the ball in net. That's her job. That's what she's been doing. She's scored over 64, 65 goals with Richmond Town in 4 years. It's probably tops in the league, or close to it. And when she gets shut down like that, you know, team's not gonna do well.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else on week 1?
No.
Did some refereeing that weekend also.
Oh,
They put me right in. They threw me right into the fire. I got like 16 games already.
Ooh.
2 weeks. I think I did like 16 games.
Wow.
My legs are about to fall off. I tell you, I came across your game last week. We did your game.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, with your situation with the boys team, it's a little different. You're playing up.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just got to, again, you got to practice, right? You can't say it enough. So, Any thoughts on your boys' team?
We're moving on. You know, at this point, we're like you said, we're trying to practice a little bit more. We've gone to a solid 2 practices a week.
Okay.
We've stretched them from an hour to like an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more. Just trying to get the boys more familiar. Obviously, we moved up from, I guess, the smallest field to the next size field.
I would say that's the middle field.
Yeah.
Middle, semi-middle, something like that.
Yeah. And that, I think, is the biggest adjustment from the small field to the field that we're on now. And the reason that I say that is just because the age of the kids alone. Yeah. You know, when you move on to the third size field, which the Starlets are on now,
right?
The girls or boys have made that change from one field to the other. This is the first time that you're changing fields. Yeah. You know, you start adding an extra player or two.
It is an adjustment. Definitely is. I remember going through it with the rush. You know, the girls got winded, and I'm sure the boys. It was the first game this past weekend, right? On that field.
Yeah. It was our first game. You know, the nets look bigger. Yeah. So, you know, right away as a kid, you know, your eyes get wide and say, "Oh, look at how big that net is."
They probably think it's so easy to score. Yeah.
But let's not forget, it's like I always said, from the minute that the Rush first stepped on that size field, it's going to be harder for these kids to go from coast to coast, from one end to the other, like kids like to do.
Yeah, they love
like that pack of tumbleweed, you know, that you see, like that you think like Heathcliff is going to emerge from it, you know, like he always did from that cloud of smoke. You know, it becomes harder because you got to run more, and just the fact that the field is bigger, you run the chance of someone actually having the time to catch up to you. Or cut you off, so I think that. But again,
adjustment.
I think we lost 4-1 this week. It is worth noting that we did move up.
We're going to get into that in a second. I just want to note a couple of things, Frank. This is our 24th show.
Okay.
I think we had to cancel last month. We didn't do a show, but this is our 24th overall show. Now we're all over the world, Frankie, as you know. Facebook. I mean, we're in Italy, parts of Italy. We got Bari, right? We got Sicily too, right?
Oh, Sicily.
Oh yeah, we got fans all over watching us on YouTube. I know we're in Canada. We got Frank Balanzano. He's our Canadian reporter. I believe his season starts this weekend with he coaches his son's team, and I believe his daughter.
Okay.
And we're gonna get him on the show again to give us a little Canadian soccer report, which is really no big deal, but we'll use it. It's soccer. It's soccer. So I mean, the show is really getting big. You know, maybe we could. We're trying to follow the midnight show with Vic Turno.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we all know we're good friends with Vic, so we're trying to get on his back there. You know.
Yeah.
And be known all over the world with this show.
Well, don't you also have a following in Florida or any sort of connections?
Yeah, we got some. We definitely got some followings in Florida.
Keeping their eye on you?
Oh yeah, YouTube, via YouTube, right? Because obviously this show is only live on Staten Island. But yeah, as you could see the hits. They're like, Brian, what's the last on the hits there? I think we got close to 1 million on one of our shows. Yeah, all right. Brian's giving me the shoulders. We don't know. All right, so
too many to count. We'll soon.
Getting back, and you know what? A shout out to the new viewers tonight, because I know I've been getting texts all day today saying they can't wait to watch the show. But anyhow, Frank, let's get back to the boys. Your boys' team. Now they are the great, formerly known as
the Richmond Town Rampage.
Are now known as
the Great Kill Sting.
The Sting. I guess it goes good with the black and yellow.
Sting like a bee, I guess.
Sting like a bee. There you go.
Oh, hopefully we'll stick and move.
So what's going on with the boys there?
Again, we moved up.
Then we'll go back to the girls.
We jumped from the U6 division on the small field to the U8 division on a little bit bigger of a field. So we jumped an extra year ahead.
Yeah. Oh, well.
You know, so we're playing mostly, you know, primarily the Sting consists of first grade boys.
Right.
And we're going to start playing basically teams consisting of second grade boys for the most part.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little bit difficult. I think we're up to the challenge. I think the two main things now at this age,
Right.
and at any age,
Mhm.
is listening for your name,
Right.
where you're told to be, and just staying in your position.
Right.
And if we do that, I don't think we could go wrong.
What I like to do with the kids, I like to compare soccer practices and to the kids. I tell them, like, just like being in school, listening to your teacher, same way. And I'm sure most of the kids are great in the classroom, right?
Yeah.
Raising their hands, not talking when they're not supposed to, and so on. So I like to compare the two. And we got a big practice tomorrow, so we're going to do a lot of that talking first, because we're coming off a game tonight, which we'll get into in a few. All right, wrap up with the boys.
Just looking forward to boys actually have another game tomorrow.
Okay, you're playing tomorrow.
So
right.
yeah, we're playing tomorrow. It's our first ever weeknight game, and then we turn around and we come back and we play Sunday as well. So it's a big week for me personally for soccer,
Right.
because between both of
So
my
where's
kids, I
your
have
game?
4 games in 5 days.
Who you playing? Where's your game?
Tomorrow we are playing. That's a good question.
Miller?
That's a very good question. We are playing at Miller Field.
Right, B1 or usually it's B1 or B2.
Yeah, I think B1.
Okay.
All of our games are.
And I don't have your game. I'm not refereeing your game. There's no
No
surprises.
surprises this time.
Definitely not. No.
Yeah. So 6:30 start time. So again, first ever
6:30
weeknight game.
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They must have a 5:30 game.
Probably.
A 5:30.
But
and
usually,
6:30.
yeah, I guess you can't start 5. 5's a little early.
So
Now, getting back to your boys now, let's make this known out there. They're playing up, which
Yes.
means they're playing against older boys.
Yes.
So, for me personally, it's like a double-edged, sword. I think edge. It could go both ways. It could be a disaster, or some of your boy. It could toughen up your team
Yeah.
by playing against bigger, faster, stronger. Like I like to say, So we'll have to wait and see how it
Yeah.
goes. I'm not gonna bash it yet. But I'm going to say that it could go either way. And you hope it doesn't go in a negative.
Yeah, I mean, I would say all it would need to be positive is, at this point, maybe a 500 season.
Yeah, 500
I would
would be
say
good.
that'd
be like a winning season.
Yeah.
Because you're playing up.
Because let's not forget, at the U8 age,
Right.
then they start seeding you and grouping you
Mm-hmm.
according to record.
Right, yeah, you're right.
So,
right, right.
if we fall somewhere in the middle of the pack and there's 4 divisions in the spring, guess what? We'll probably wind up in Division 3.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm fine with kind of climbing up the ladder. And then eventually, maybe we'll wind up in Division 1. If it's proven that we can't keep
Right.
up with these teams, who knows? We may even stay back and do a second year U8.
All right.
So,
That sounds good, yeah. I mean, the good thing about it is a lot of boys teams for the U8, right?
Yeah.
There's like four divisions.
yeah, I think
There's a
that
ton of teams there, so there's going to be a lot of shuffling going on in the spring.
this is the thick of it. I think between U8 and U10
Yeah.
boys, that's got the real meat, because the
Right.
boys are really, at that age, they're trying 2, 3, 4 sports at a time.
Right.
And soccer happens to be one of them. So hopefully they'll keep
Yeah,
all of
well,
them. Hopefully.
Your
Yeah.
job is to make it fun for them. That's your job, is to keep them, make it fun, take them out for pizzas. I guess you could reward them when they're doing well.
Always try to play games during practice at
Yeah.
this age.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be a drill.
Right.
I try to have like an equal system of amount of stretches, drills, games using the soccer ball, where kids get to keep score or whatever. And then obviously, like anything else, you wind up with the scrimmage.
Right, at the end. Right.
So that's something the kids really look forward to, the scrimmage and whatever games. Whether we play a game of Shark, Steal the Bacon, variation of Simon Says that I call Coach Says.
Right.
put your foot on the ball. Coach says put your foot on the ball.
Right.
Kick your feet. Kick the ball between the insides of your feet. Coach says kick the balls. You could do
Red light, green light.
Red light, green light. That's an old goodie from the Richmond Town Rush.
Touches, the most important, right? As long as they're touching the ball, I think is the most important. 'Cause they could probably get distracted and real quick. You know.
I like playing a variation of red light, green light where you actually call the players' names out.
Okay.
Because I think that encourages them to listen for their name.
Right.
So.
Whichever way works, you know. You want to keep it fun. That's the most important. Keep it fun, this way they don't they don't start saying soccer's boring. This, you know.
Yeah. There's choices, you know, down the road.
There's too many for, I think, the boys. Too many
I know we talk about this all the time.
The other sports are like dominating, especially in school. Like when they get older, oh, you're playing soccer. Soccer's always known as a sissy sport, you know. And basketball comes into play. You know, what do you need? You just need a ball for basketball, right? You don't need no equipment. There's no shin guards. There's no cleats. You need sneakers and a ball. Everyone's got sneakers already, so you just need a ball.
Hey, if you're me in high school, you don't even need sneakers. Most of the time, I wore those Doc Martin boots and I played.
All right.
Needless to say, my feet got all cut up, but I played on.
All right, so what else on the boys' team? You wrapping up? You got a game tomorrow and Sunday.
And Sunday, so it's a big week for me.
Yeah, I think the league is just squeezing games in here, huh?
That's fine. You know, I was never really in favor of weeknight games for either team. Yeah. But you know what? Being so busy, it creates more havoc during a weeknight schedule. But then the flip side is that you may have a weekend off here and there.
Yeah.
And, you know.
In your case, you don't because you're going right back at it Sunday.
Well, yeah, but eventually down the road, I think next Sunday I may actually be off.
Really?
Without any soccer to do.
That's crazy.
Which is like...
That's crazy scheduling. Are you kidding?
That's like a miracle for me.
Unreal.
Because now it is worth noting. And
you could referee all day, make some money.
Wow, that's true too.
Speaking of, you got anything?
But it is, just before we wrap up and move back to the Starlets, I am now taking on a third team. A U5
That's right.
/ 6
this guy does
boy-girl team. You know, for my youngest, and we're gonna start them out with the clinic over at Great Kills.
Well, yeah, you know what? Let's get into that real quick. Let's mention a couple of up and uppers at Great Kills. You know, your director, and how he runs his U5 and U6. I think it's U5, U6. You know more about it.
No, the boys director, Jim.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, how does he run the younger kids? Because they're not right into the league like some clubs, right?
Well, basically, from what I understand, obviously this is our first season with Great Kills. Yeah. But from what I understand, John.
Okay.
Moshella?
He's the director.
He's the director of Great Kills. Okay. And I think he runs the clinic.
He runs a clinic for
the
ages.
U5 and the U6.
Okay, so they're not in the league. They're just playing. Okay.
They're like within the Great Kills.
Within Great Kills, and it's like a training session every week.
Yeah, and that you go through like let's say 5 and 6 year olds.
Okay.
Or 4 and 5 year olds.
Right.
Pre-K and kindergarten basically.
Okay.
The years, and then once they come out of that clinic,
right.
From my understanding, is I've been working very closely with the boys director, Jim Cahill. And what he does is he kind of assists the teams that, let's say the boys teams that are going into the league to play in the Staten Island Soccer League. So he's been helping myself with the U8 boys team, as well as Coach Jen with the U7 Great Kills boys team, the Great Kills Heat.
All right.
So he's been assisting us, you know, just getting to know the players, some of the drills, and just kind of like slowly, like I say, releasing us into the rest of the league.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I've been in the league for 2 years with the boys, so Richmond Town ran things a little bit differently.
Every club does things different. This is the way that
Great Kills does it.
I'm
happy for his help. He's every person that you talk to about soccer or anything else is going to have different ideas.
Right.
And it's like Jim told me a few weeks ago. He said, "You know what?" And I've heard this plenty of times before, and he's the last person to tell it to me, so I'll give credit to him. I'll give the footnote to him on this one. you know, you like what I do, you keep it. You don't like what I do, you throw it away.
Right.
And you know,
Yeah, no, listen, don't forget, this is all volunteer work. You
Yes.
know, let's not, kid ourselves. We could use all the hands we could get, right?
especially at the younger ages.
Yeah, and during practices. But I will say this, and I think we went through this with the rush. Too many voices, especially for a game. That's, again, everyone's got their own way of coaching. A team needs to have one voice. And we had that issue, I think, and we came across it, we addressed it, and thankfully everyone understood. And again, it's for the team. It's not for one coach or one player. I think during a game, if you have 3 different people yelling to, Jimmy, whatever, you go here, you go, it's just confusing. Then you'll forget, you got the parents on the other sideline telling their kids what to do. So I think one voice definitely during a game is a big different. That's the way it should be in my mind. So
Yeah. No, you're right.
practice. Listen, you can have all the parents come in and chip in because you're practicing. You break up the group here and there. But during a game, and I've been like this, for years. One person, and really during the game, your team should know. Depending on the age, I guess, a U10 team right now should know where to be in situations. Okay. They really should. If you're sitting there screaming at a U10 team, forget it. The team is just clueless. They really are. Okay? You shouldn't have to do that. Scream on top of your lungs. You might have to direct here and there a little bit, positioning. Hey, get back in your spot, whatever. But these girls have been doing it now for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's like ring a bell. Hello? So, anyhow.
Yeah, so, that's kind of how it's broken up. It's kind of like a pyramid where, like, let's say John is here and Jim's here with the boys. And we haven't really dealt that much with Andy Dunnigan on the girls' side. He's the girls' director.
Right.
Because of the fact that the girls are a little bit older. So they're already a U10 team. So it's assumed that they've been in the league for a couple of years.
Yeah,
according to the Great Kills.
Yeah.
Blueprint or whatever of teams. So I think that's why we really haven't come across him as much.
Okay.
But I'm sure he's just as hands-on with the flip side in those U7 and U8 girls teams. But I think that's kind of like the pyramid structure and how it.
So they don't play league games. You're in a clinic until you're U7. U7.
Yes, U7.
So once they're 6 years old, they put them in they put them in the league.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. I mean, because the games don't count even at U7. They don't even count. So really.
And a lot of clubs do it. The Great Kills is one of them. I believe St. Charles is another one that does that.
No, St. Charles actually does.
They play games?
They have games, yeah, U5. The little guys.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking about Our Lady Star of the Sea does that.
Yeah. All right.
And there's a number of other clubs.
Okay.
I think.
So far, all in all, everything's peachy.
Yeah, all in all, I'm going to get to work with the U5, U6 boys team.
If you can, maybe we could have a couple of them on the show. Invite them on.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
We got to get a big panel going here, and we'll talk soccer for an hour.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'd love to. A lot to talk about.
Unfortunately, we don't come on live again for another month, but we'll still be we'll be right in the thick of things, of the soccer season.
Yeah.
So as we're talking, I'm getting an email from the Referees Association. So it's probably another job to do. So anyhow, any final thoughts on the Great Kills Clinic?
No, just waiting to see what it's about. I spoke to the parents. They seem really pleasant.
And now, how old? You said your oldest son. What's his name? And how old?
Michael.
Okay.
He's pre-K, so he's going to be 4.
He's going to be
just
4.
about a month.
Okay, so he's 4 years old, and he's starting now, first time playing soccer. I'm sure he's excited.
Yeah, he is excited.
Right?
He is excited. We were supposed to try him in a camp this summer. It didn't work out for a number of reasons, just because the scheduling, with 3 kids, 3 different ages wanting to play.
It's got to be tough.
The times were
It's got to be
You
tough.
know, kind of like,
yeah.
do you send one away this week?
Yeah.
I didn't really want to send two of them away 1 week without the other one.
Yeah.
'Cause then,
Yeah.
you know, so we
All right.
just decided to. But I am disappointed in the fact of speaking about that when I gave Steven, the middle guy, he got an extra push
All right.
before we started him at U5. He was able, I put him into a challenger camp,
Okay.
which didn't have that many kids his age, which gave him a lot of like 2-to-1, 3-to-1 instruction.
Right.
So I feel like I kind of, you know, didn't do the same for Michael, but
He's
hopefully,
going to get
you know,
plenty of work.
well, he's actually got. He kind of grew up on the field because
Yeah, exactly.
he's been on the
Exactly.
field since before he was born, technically.
Okay.
He was actually born during the Rush's first season.
Oh,
I came to the.
right. That's right.
I came to one of the
Yeah.
last games
Yeah.
that season with the armband from the hospital, and headed straight to the hospital to see him. So,
All right.
but hopefully, good things, you know. Hopefully, great.
He's going to
season
get a
for-
lot of work. Trust me. He's only 4. So.
Yeah,
And then as he gets older, he can always train with the others. You know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got Marie and you got Steven going
Yeah.
at it. So you got 3. Yeah, it's got to be a handful. All right. Anything else?
No,
Anything else to add?
no, just
Okay,
hoping for a
so-
great season.
Getting back, and again, your boys' team now remains to be seen. Like I said earlier, you know, because of the age difference, they're playing. All right, getting back to the Starlets. Week 1 is in the books, wrapped up 0-0 tie, right? I think we felt that we got lucky to get the point last week
Yeah, we did.
because we were pretty much outplayed. We have a couple practices during the week. How did things go in practice?
I think things went well, you know, but I just don't see with this team right now. I haven't seen the continuity, you know, as far as
Right.
like a drill goes.
Yeah.
Like just the ball flowing freely,
Okay.
like in a circle. Like yesterday, we did some drills, like working on defense,
Right.
where the girls would go. You'd receive the ball here, and you'd go to your right, dribble to your right, dribble up a little bit, kick it down the field. You know, for some reason they couldn't hit the person that was down the field,
Yeah. Oh.
and you know they kind of kicked too soft or
It's
too
kinda-
hard, and they couldn't put it at that player's feet, so that
Timing.
player would dribble it back, and
Timing.
I just don't, and you know, and I don't mean to get to discredit this team because I don't think I've seen it in the Rush team in the past either.
Mhm.
You see too much chattering,
Yeah.
too much. Sometimes you get girls that just want to kick the ball as hard as
Right.
they can, kick the ball without direction, either with their toes instead of the inside of their heel, and those are things that, you know, hopefully soon we're gonna see.
Well, you know, it all comes down to paying attention, especially in practice. You know, I haven't been there this week due to my referee assignment, so I'm looking forward to practice tomorrow. Looking forward to getting right down to the basics, really. You know, if you have to go back to the drawing board with this team,
Yeah.
and even though they're 9 and 10-year-olds, if you got to go back to the basics and draw it out on a board, because you know I'm famous for my board. I like to draw plays out, and the girls love it. They like to see the play written out on the board. Whatever it takes, you know. We're gonna get right into this game. So you had that practice, and we had a game tonight. We just came off the field. We were at our Howell,
Yeah.
and we played Star to Sea again, same team from last week, but a whole different outcome tonight. It actually started off okay, and you know what? Don't just remember this also. Just because you score the first goal and you're feeling good, it was pretty much early in the game that we had scored a goal. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go your way, because after we scored the first goal tonight, everything went in the tank after that, I think, for whatever reason. and just a lot of girls out of positioning, out of position. Gabriella got the only goal again. Again, she can't be the only one doing this. No team is going to go anywhere with one player.
Not at this age level.
And anyone.
You might get away with it.
At the
younger
U5,
years,
with the small
U5,
fields
U6
when you're playing 20 feet apart.
You might even be able to get away with it at U7.
It's just not going to work anymore. We went
But-
through this the last season with the Rush, right? Because the team went in different directions. We lost some players, and Gabriella was doing, defense, offense. So it never works out. It's not going to work, and we need to find, I guess, because we're not going to add anybody else at this point, right?
Yeah.
So we need to find, I guess, another player to help out. Or, again, I haven't made my debut yet as far as coaching. That's going to come Saturday. Maybe I would have done something a little different. But, again, it's not going to guarantee us winning. But you know my style. You should know. If we jump on the team early and we get a goal and we're struggling to score, what am I going to do? I'm gonna drop back.
5 defenders.
My old friend, Mr. Benny Fazio, that's probably watching us right now. Back in, was it 19? I don't know, about 20 years ago. We played a game, I think, took a lead, and he wanted to win so bad, just like I did and everybody else did. You always take your best player and you drop him back, and you shut down the other team like that, And that's what I would have probably done a little different. But there was too much time in the game today.
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened? And what if Gabriella? What if she stayed back? She probably wouldn't have stayed back. Because these players just want to keep scoring and don't realize that. You're trying to protect the lead now. Now you're just trying to protect. But we'll work on it. It's only one.
Ironically enough, we haven't been spotted together. Either on the sidelines or at a practice.
Well, like I said,
it's early.
My debut is going to be Saturday. I'll be on the coaching sideline for the game after tomorrow's practice, and then we'll see. I'm just going to rub the ball, and maybe it'll bring us some luck like it has for Richmond Town the last 4 years. So.
Yeah.
But again, you need to have the players really doing their playing their positions. They need to listen up. If they're not doing that, then it's just all for naught, pretty much. So to break down today's game, we start game 2, 6 o'clock. I think the first 7 minutes of the game we scored a goal. I think Gabriella scored probably from outside the 18 or right around the 18-yard line, right around that area. She took a shot, and not to take anything away from her, but the goalie did miss it a little. I think she should have had it. She kind of fumbled it a little and crossed the goal line, and I blew the whistle. It's a goal once it crosses the line. And don't forget the ball's got to be completely across the line. I hear a lot of coaches, the ball is out, but excuse me, did the ball go completely over, or was it on the line? Oh, it was on the line. All right, it's still in. Anything on the line is still in.
And that goes for even the touch lines as well.
All around the field. Yeah, everything, all around. Goal line, touch, and all that. So I had a game not too long ago where referee is coach is just trying to tell me about the rules of the game. And I'm like, where is he getting this from? Like telling me that this should be happening because of this age group, It's just so coaches just coach your team. Referees will just referee the game, and everyone will be happy, I think, I don't get on coaches. You see me. Very rare do I get on a coach. I think I had one warning in 4 years, and it was just a warning. He said, "Coach, just cut it." I think Brian was at that game. Our technical director, Brian LaPiore, I think he was at that game, and I believe the referee was German, was a German referee. He had given me a verbal warning. So one time in really 4 years, because he made a bad call. I think actually Gabriel was getting tripped in that game a lot. So I mean, I don't get on the referees. I respect them, and everyone.
There was a couple bad calls.
There was a couple bad calls in that game. Listen, everyone makes mistakes. As a referee, today's game, and also yesterday, the sun was really killing me at the start of the game. As far as not being able to see the sidelines, and on that turf, the artificial, it shines. It's like, it's shining, and you can't see the line. So, I know coaches, everyone wants to win, but we're all human here. I can make a mistake too, just like a coach can. So.
I have an update. It was May 19th, 2012.
Okay, thank you for the update, Brian. Brian just updated.
Against the.
Yeah.
That's right. The white and blue.
Yeah.
The
Patrides?
Panthers white.
Patrides Panthers, right? It was against me. Good memory, Brian. That's why we keep him around. He's good. All right, so again, the game starts off good, right? We get that early goal. We're feeling okay about it, and a lot of breakdowns. I think a lot of breakdowns with great kills, and we're gonna have to get back to work tomorrow right away. Tomorrow I'm grateful that there's practice tomorrow, and whoever makes it, we'll just try and correct it. And then we got a game Saturday.
Yeah, it's a big week for us.
And we got a game on Saturday. I believe that's at Miller Field. First game at Miller this season. First game back there, I guess, since Sandy hit there. We haven't played there since.
Well, actually, if you remember, the day before Sandy hit, we were at Patrides.
Right.
So I don't even know if we played that season really, even at Miller. I think we played that season primarily at Patrides.
Okay, so we haven't been at Miller since. We're going back now to last fall.
The last game we played, I think, at Miller Field was against the St. Dorothy Honeybees, I believe.
Right.
And I believe that was it was a rematch of the 1-1 tie.
Right.
That gave us our first division title.
That's funny.
And I believe we routed them something like 6. Is it 6-1? Right?
But the
6-1?
But the scorekeeper said 7. Right. 7-1. Yeah. So how long are we talking now that we haven't been there?
Since June of 2012.
Since June. Wow. Yeah.
Since June of 2000.
Oh, that's for you and I, but Coach Sal's been there because I'm sure he's been there before. And we got to get Sal on this show.
Yeah.
Sal, if Sal's watching, Sal, we appreciate all your hard work, that you've given to soccer too. But we got to get you on here somehow.
Yeah.
He's a great guy to have. I mean, I talk to him all the time about soccer. He's very knowledgeable, so he'd be an asset to the show, really. So, all right, we're heading for Miller Field. We got another about 12 minutes left on the show. I want to also get into some professional sports, baseball and so. Miller Field Saturday 12:30 against our old buddy St. Charles. That's Rob there, the great Rob. He's a real good guy. He's got a pretty good team over there. Always gives us a run. In the past, we a lot of ties, and we've come out on the good end of the stick. But they're still a team. Not you can't sleep on them.
No, you're right. You definitely can't sleep on them. They actually, I believe, skill-wise, obviously it's a different team.
Yeah.
But from the last time that we played them with the Rush, skill-wise, I think they may have closed the gap a little bit. Because the fact that either we lost a player or two, they, I believe, gained a high caliber player.
Right.
I don't know if she's still with the team.
She probably is. It doesn't.
Again, I think they did close the gap a little bit. Now we're talking about a little bit different of a team, so we're not sure exactly.
Well, knowing their team, let's just go by last season because that's the last time we saw them. I think it was a 1-1 tie with the Russian, and then knowing their team, knowing our team, it's going to be a tight game, really close. And if they have the difference now is travel players, right? We don't have any.
Yeah.
If a team has one, advantage them. Automatically advantage. Just no doubt about it. That player knows what to do with the ball. That player is just, probably gets it all done for that team.
I mean, that plays practicing too. Travel practices at least 2 days a week.
Yeah.
If they make their rec practice,
Right.
that's the third day a week.
They get games.
Then you're playing a rec game and a
Right,
travel game
right,
a week.
yeah.
This kid's playing soccer 5 out of 7 days.
So that one player can make a difference. If we had one, I guarantee you today would be a different result too. Really, because that player's all over the place doing everyone else's job, and we had that with a particular player with the Rush, that she would do everyone else's job because they weren't doing it. I'll just put it that way. And she was conscious enough to, she knew that she had to go. Yeah. So I just want to give an update also. That picture that you see behind us, that is not me with hair, okay? That's just want to make that clear to everybody. That's Gigi Buffon, the Italian goalkeeper, and also Juventus goalkeeper. All right, so we're going to wrap up pretty much with youth soccer, Frank. Looking forward to my debut on Saturday. Can't wait for practice tomorrow and get right with it. And I also did get assigned to a game that I don't know if I should have taken because they want me to referee on Friday now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but we'll see how it goes Friday. We're going to jump right into, we got about 10 minutes to go, right into the Italian soccer league. Let's see, Serie A, right? Let's see what we got here on Serie A. Milan played today. Actually, that was for the Champions League. Frank, it's funny because they got this Champions League, and then they play their league games, right? And Milan is really not doing too well in their league games.
Okay.
If you see the guy behind there with the Jeep logo on his shirt, his team is doing a lot better, which is Juventus. I believe they're in second place currently right now in Serie A for the Italian league.
Okay.
They're, let me just see if I can pull it up here real quick. I believe they have 7 points. Actually, it's kind of tight. They're only 3 games into the season. Napoli's on top of the table with 9 points, mostly because they've played nobody. Napoli's is a good team right now. All right, they're playing well. The team that's really surprising is AC Roma. Okay, this is them. This is as you can see, I'm supporting Roma now. They're also undefeated. They're 3-0 with 9 points. They're tied with Napoli. So I think this Italian season this year is going to be really interesting. Juventus is the defending champs with Gigi Buffon, right, on the back screen there. Fiorentina's in the mix also. They got 7 points. I believe they got 2 wins, which is 6, and a tie. Makes it 7 points. So we got a lot of this team, and Milan has only got 4 points. They're struggling for whatever reason on their club team, but they won today. They beat Celtic in the Champions League 2-0. So I know you're not on top of the professional bracket unless you got something to share.
Nah, I'm not really up on.
You haven't paid attention too much
to the professional. It's hard enough keeping track of the youth teams.
Well, you got 3 teams to keep track of. Major League Soccer, Red Bulls again. They're in first place right now, I believe. They came off a win over Toronto last weekend, and I believe they're in first place with 3 games to go. Again, they don't strike you as like a team that could win it all. Even though they got Theo Henry on their team, but they don't have anyone else of quality. It remains to be seen. They're known to choke in the playoffs every year. So
yeah,
the class team is the LA Galaxy. They got Donovan. They used to have Beckham, but he's gone. He's retired.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the MLS standings here to see exactly where the Red Bull are right now. Let's see, table. Yep, they're exactly first in their conference, Frank. They're first place with 48 points. I think they have 3 games to go. I believe they played 32 games. So, you know, they don't have a big lead. They only have a 3-point lead. Montreal comes in second. That's why we need Frankie for our Canadian report to give us an update on Montreal. And they're in I believe it says second year in Montreal.
Okay.
And they're not bad for second in the conference.
No, not at all.
You got Kansas City, Houston, Chicago, Philadelphia, New England, and Columbus. Toronto's towards the bottom. And D.C., you know what? D.C., I think, has 5 championships. You know, they were one of the better clubs when the league first came out.
Okay.
I think about, how many years is this league around now? About 20? Is it
Yeah,
20?
I
About
think
20?
that sounds about right.
So D.C. pretty much ran the table back then, you know, in the beginning. Western Conference, we got Seattle, Salt Lake, Colorado. L.A.'s they always have a mediocre season, like regular season, and then they come on. It's like they know how to turn that switch on and off. All right, they cruise through the regular season. Right now they're sitting 4th. I don't know where that sits them for the playoffs because they're not giving me the playoff standings right now. They're just giving me both conferences. But I got to imagine that they're going to make the playoffs and make another run again at the MLS Cup this season. So, you know, that pretty much wraps it up for soccer. Let's see, Serie B. Well, we got Bari, my hometown in Italy. They finally won a game last week. They're 1 win and 2 losses. And they also got deducted some points for match fixing. You know, their goalkeeper got suspended. That's no longer with the club, but the club got some points deducted. That's what they do. They take away points from you. So you start the season off in the negative.
Okay.
They were negative 2 points, I believe they started it with. So anyhow, that's the wrap on the professional sports for this show. But definitely we'll have a lot more news on the Italian league and even the British league.
Well, it is worth mentioning too. I think you forgot one little tidbit that I'm not sure if it was an oversight or not. Since your last show, the New York Cosmos.
Yeah, you know what? We
returned.
can. You're right. The reason why, again, and I used to love the Cosmos as a kid growing up. What still doesn't seem real is that they're not playing in the MLS, in the professional league.
Okay.
That to me, just they're playing in semi-pro, and they're playing in Long Island at.
That's so.
No, they're playing at that stadium, Hofstra.
Hofstra?
Yeah, they're playing there, which only seats, I think, if it's 4,000, it's too much.
Oh, really?
It's too much if it's 4. I think it's like 3. I don't think it seats that many fans at all. But again, it's great to see the name back. The players are never going to be the way they were, back in the 70s and 80s. But again, it just doesn't feel real until they're in the MLS.
Yeah.
So get them a stadium. The city needs to really get them a stadium. I think the fans will go out and see them. Again, you got to bring some quality players over. You bring some people over. Yeah. Quality players, and then you'll have people coming out to see them. But yeah, thanks for reminding me. I see their scores a lot. I look them up, but I think I saw one game so far this year that they won.
Okay.
I don't even know their record. I can't even pull them up because I don't have them on here. I don't know where to go to get information on them. But I know Pele was back. A couple of the old guys, Beckenbauer. I know Benny Fazio. Again, I'm giving him all the props. He's probably their biggest fan. So he's their biggest fan, but he was at a Red Bull game last weekend. So how does that work? We got to find out. Yeah, he was actually in the box also.
Was he?
He's sitting there like a king. So we got a couple minutes. We could do some other sports. We could go right up your alley, right off the bat. The Yankees and Mets. Done. Yankees hung on as long as they can, right? I think injuries and.
Yeah.
I think injuries really did in the Yankees.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Right? Too many injuries to overcome, I think. And CeCe really didn't do well this year.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he had a garbage year. I think for him, it's an adjustment time. I think he needs to adjust to maybe getting older.
Well, yeah.
or his pitching, his arm, or whatever. I'm not really the baseball guy, but this is what I hear.
Yeah. Nah, he just had a bad year. you know.
Mets, I've knocked them for so many years. I'm not, I think it's just going through some growing. They lost the pitcher. What happened with that pitcher that they just lost recently? Got hurt?
Harvey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the status with him? Tommy John surgery or?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Last check.
Okay, so we don't know. No update on him.
Yeah, I haven't really.
Again, with the Mets, they have a lot of young players, right? So you got to go through your lumps. At least they have young players. They're not old, going down. Getting back to the Yankees real quick. Cano.
Yeah, is he gonna resign?
He'd be a fool not to re-sign with the Yankees. There's really no market out there. There's really nothing, If I were him, take what you could get. You're a Yankee, and that's being a Yankees. Sometimes if you feel like you're maybe ahead of a lot of other clubs. I'm not gonna say everybody, but you're almost ahead of everybody else. But anyhow, real quick, who do you see? I think Boston could win it all.
I think they can.
Right now, they're clicking on all cylinders right now.
I think they can.
They pretty much put the Yankees out of their misery, sweeping them last weekend. So Boston, so we agree on that?
Yeah, I think Boston and not sure who I think.
National League, Atlanta, maybe?
Maybe Atlanta.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see in the World Series, Atlanta. Okay, real quick, football started. We're a couple weeks into the football season.
Yeah.
Again, New York teams just stinking it up. Thank God for hockey. The Rangers' preseason games were getting back to, I don't know. The Jets weren't really expected to do much, right?
I think Rex is gone. I think the whole thing with Sanchez just...
Yeah. The Giants, 0-2. They need to get on the winning track this weekend. If not, they could tank it in, Super Bowl's in New York this year, and both these teams are stinking it up. Thank God for hockey. Rangers won last night, their second preseason game. They're 1-1. And on that note, I'm being told that we got to wrap up the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Frank Tricomi, thank you for being here. And
Thanks
we'll
again.
see you guys on our next live show.
Which is, I believe, National Boss Day.
Sunday morning, rain or shine, gonna make the game on time. All week long, gotta train, 'cause I'm better than the rest. Alright, alright. Match to start, feeling good.